can need a mic. There you go.
Hello. So I'm excited to be in Mumbai today. We recently launched in 240 countries, but this is my third trip to Mumbai in the last year, and it's a very, very exciting country, and we're excited about getting the service going here. You know, our most popular content everywhere is our original series. We have Indian movies, American series, kids shows, but the original series get watched most wherever we are. So that includes Top Gear and Man in the High Castle and shows like that. And you know, we've had some success in the US with Amazon Studios with these shows. We've won the Golden Globe 2 years in a row for Best Comedy. We won Best Actor at the Golden Globe for 3 years in a row. We recently won 3 Academy Awards for Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Foreign Film for The Salesman. And so we want to bring, you know, a similar exciting tradition here to our efforts in India and serve Indian customers. And I think that some keys to that are, you know, India has such a rich storytelling tradition. And I think the most important thing we can do is empower great Indian artists to tell Indian stories that have universal resonance. And that aligns with our general theme of the key to success is to basically get great artists who are super talented and at the top of their game and want to do something exciting and empower them to do that. And then find big stories that really have the excitement and size of film, but sort of the story scope of television. So we call it Filmavision, and it's kind of a new and fun thing. And I think the project we're talking about today, The Forgotten Army with Kabir Khan, who I'm about to introduce, it perfectly epitomizes what we're trying to do. So we're really looking forward to the very ambitious project that we'll shoot from here to Singapore. And so I hope everyone looks forward to it. So now let me introduce Kabir Khan. You brought your own mic.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Roy, for the introduction. Hi. Good afternoon. Great to see you here. And I'm really excited to talk about what this new project is all about. It's going to be an Amazon original. It's something new that I'm trying in terms of the platform. You know, you've known me as a filmmaker doing Bollywood films that release theatrically, but now I'm doing this big show with Amazon as an Amazon original. Just to give you a brief backdrop to what this show is, as most of you know, I've been a documentary filmmaker and, you know, till now derive a lot of my raw material for my films from my documentary experiences. So one of the first documentaries that I did was a documentary called The Forgotten Army, which was, in a certain sense, it became my calling card. It was the first documentary that got me acclaim, and, you know, people started reaching out to me for work connected with that documentary. And this was something that I shot in 1996, and it is essentially the story of the Azad Hind Fauj, as we know it, the Indian National Army, which was formed in Singapore. We've all read about this in bits and pieces in our history books. There's not much of it. But what I did was I went and tracked down 2 veterans of this army, 2 soldiers who were part of this army, Captain Lakshmi Sehgal, who was the commander of the women's infantry unit in this army called the Rani Jhansi Regiment, and Colonel Gurbakh Singh Dhillon, who was also famous for one of the 3 being tried at the Red Fort trials. They were 86, and I went up to them and I said, you know, we really don't know anything about this army and what happened in those years from 1942 to 1945 in World War II. Would you come back with me and retrace this journey? They thought I'm cuckoo. They thought I'm mad, because at 86 to take them back on this journey, which was going to be, you know, we were traveling on the road for 3 months. But such was their passion and such was their desire to actually tell this story that they came with me, and we embarked on this journey, which took us from Singapore through Malaysia, Thailand, and Burma, all the way back to the borders of India. And this was exactly the route that the Azad Hind Fauj had taken on 55 years ago from when I filmed during World War II. And ever since I did that documentary, there was so much that I experienced behind the camera. There was so much that I saw, which was much more than what went into the documentary, that I always wanted to make a big feature about this subject. So honestly, today when I say that this is a story that made me want to become a filmmaker. This is a story that I thought this is the one story I have to tell. And after every film, I must be honest, I used to bring out the idea of Forgotten Army, and I used to, I used to keep writing the screenplay and notes on it. I said, I want to do this, I want to do this. Somehow, 6 films down, I still haven't done it. And then, as they say, sometimes things happen for the better. And now when I'm undertaking this journey and making the Forgotten Army actually into a series, a mini series, I think it lends itself much better to this platform. And that's what I'm really excited about, because Amazon is actually giving me a platform which is allowing me to make it with much greater scale, much greater reach in terms of audience, and really be true to the spirit of this amazing story. Because somewhere down the line, we do a certain Bollywoodization of our stories. There are certain parameters within which we need to operate when we're telling certain stories, and that sometimes takes away from the spirit of the story. And suddenly, I got this platform where, for me, it's really a liberating experience to be able to tell a story exactly the way you want to narrate it. I mean, if a Japanese soldier is speaking in Japanese, so be it. I don't need to think of a tool. How do I make this Japanese guy speak Hindi? Kuch to hoga, maa hogi India se. Something you have to keep doing. And we've seen some recent films which have been destroyed by that tool, where we're making characters speak Hindi, because otherwise, how do you release it? And so it's just, as a filmmaker, I must say that it's been a great experience in scripting this. I'm still scripting it, and being able to narrate the story the way I really wanted to. So I think we should open it up to questions, and from there we'll take on whatever you want to know about this subject. Thank you.
Sure.
So anybody?
Any questions?
A documentary on a big screen. Ever did you thought about it?
I already have made this documentary. So this comes from my documentary called The Forgotten Army. So because of what I did in the documentary, the story comes from there. And I developed it into a screenplay.
Any more questions?
Yes?
Yeah, questions for Roy Price. When you started creating original content 3 years ago, was there a lot of skepticism from top talent? Because before that, Amazon was mainly known as an e-commerce company. So at that time, was there a lot of skepticism? And how would you say OTT players are disrupting the traditional studio model of production, finance, and also content creation?
Well, originally, a few years ago, we did sort of have to go around and explain to people what we were doing, what the goal was, what the standards would be. But we had already earned a reputation for reliability by delivering everybody's packages on time. So I think that started us off with a good level of credibility. So there was definitely that period where you had to go around and talk to agents and managers and talent and explain, what we're trying to do. We're trying to do great work that people are really going to remember, that's going to stand the test of time, that's going to be the best in the industry. And I think that was the important message to communicate, so people could understand, what we're trying to accomplish and what kind of project they might think of when they think of Amazon. So these days, we don't have to explain it too much, because I think most, people are aware, but that was definitely part of the task in the beginning.
Wanted to ask you was, are you looking at content in the other languages in India, or you're just sticking to Hindi at the moment?
We do have some film projects we've been talking about that are not in Hindi.
Let me take that. We've got content on the service in 6 different languages. So it's English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Bengali, Marathi. So that's available. Movies are available on the service today, and most of them premiere on the service before TV.
No, I'm talking about original content, like what Kabir is doing.
I'd say we'll see. I mean, it would be great to find a great project of whatever kind, and it's hard with development to know which one is going to come out just right. But we're always looking for something great, and that's the real criterion. We don't have anything to announce at this point, but hopefully one day we do have we have movies on the site. In Tamil and Telugu and so on, and so hopefully one day originals as well.
Hi, this is Nishant from Stuff magazine. It's a question that probably Kabir and Roy can both answer. So on the technical side, as a filmmaker, do you think that you're limited by not being able to shoot in 4K or not being able to release it in Dolby Atmos to tell your story, or you think on a smaller screen it doesn't really matter? And maybe on the platform side, how easy would it be to deliver 4K on Indian value?
No, honestly, I don't really give much thought. I think technology is just a tool for a storyteller. Having said, Dolby Atmos, we should be also very aware of how many people actually access our films in Dolby Atmos. My last film, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, is considered to be one of the most watched film in this country. It's got footfalls of about 3.8 crores. Right? Everybody else is watching it obviously on the net. Everybody is watching it on their phones. Everybody is watching it on their laptops. So we already, majority of the people watching our shows is already on the digital medium. So we should be aware of that. And I really don't, miss releasing something theatrically. Of course, there's a great, thrill of going on Friday and seeing your film releasing on a Friday and seeing the ticket sales and everything, and that's going to continue. But I do see this as the future. I do see that these platforms, the digital platforms, are definitely the future. They are already game changers in the West, and it's just a matter of time before they, in a certain sense, change the game even in India. So I saw that potential, I saw that possibility, and that's why I decided that I wanted to narrate this story on this platform.
Hi, Ankur from Huffington Post. My question is both for Nitesh and for Roy. Have you guys relaxed your position on censorship yet? Because last time when there was a little issue about it, you guys had said that you need to be culturally sensitive when it comes to sort of airing content without filters. But when you're sort of seeking top talent from the industry, an ideal way is to empower the filmmaker by giving him autonomy and not sort of getting him to think that he may have to censor content. So where do you guys stand on it now?
I think Kabir should validate this, but when you work with the top talent, top filmmakers, we ask them to think unconstrained. We ask them to think about the best stories that they want to tell without having to worry about, what my weekend launch is going to look like, what my time slot's going to be on TV. That's what we tell them, and that's what Kabir is doing, and that's why he's excited about that.
Yes, absolutely, Ankur. I don't think we've sort of come into that position where we're already trying to, look at stuff in the script and saying, can we do this or can we not do that? In fact, it's one of the empowering elements of this whole platform and medium is that one is being able to do much more than probably I would be able to do in a mainstream Hindi film. There, unfortunately, because of the conditions we are in right now, sometimes we are always checking ourselves because, unfortunately, we have certain characters, who are going to be sitting on our film before release. And so we sometimes see ourselves making corrections, even before the release. And with Amazon, there's been no such, there's never been an incident or, any scene or anything that we're trying to develop, or we're trying to correct ourselves or, check ourselves before going into production.
Hi, this is Upala here from DNA. Kabir, this is for you. Is it in English, the language, the web series? Will it be called The Forgotten Army again? And will it have an international cast? What about the casting?
Okay, so still working on the screenplay, but yes, it is, the working title is Forgotten Army. We're not sure whether it'll be the final title or not. Whether it's going to be in Hindi, yes, predominantly in Hindi, but at the same time, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let every character speak in the language that comes naturally to them. So there would be Japanese because there's a strong Japanese presence in the film because of the Azad Hind Fauj. There's a Burmese presence, and then of course the presence of British soldiers. So I think when I'm writing, I'm going to let every character speak whichever language comes to them naturally, and that's one of the greatest, I think, liberating factors for me as a filmmaker to be able to do that. What is your third part? Yes, it will have an international cast because there will be. I'm definitely looking at casting people from Japan and from Burma.
We have time for one last question.
Hi, Roy. My question is directed to you. In the US, the model that Amazon Prime follows is a crowdsourcing model where scripts come in and the viewer is empowered to choose what they want to see. Do you see the same model being replicated in India, where the Indian viewer is empowered to choose what he or she wants to watch?
Well, well, most of our, 99% of our shows and movies actually come from, meeting with filmmakers and writers, sort of in a more traditional way. But we also have the opportunity for people to upload a script and we'll read it. And actually, we've gotten a TV show out of that called Gordimer Gibbons, which won a lot of awards and was great. And we have a movie premiering this year called The Wall, which would be directed by Doug Liman, that was uploaded to the site. So, if we get a show or a movie out of it every year or two, that's good with me. So it's a part of what we do, but for the most part, we develop in a more traditional way.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I think we have some discussions after this, but thank you so much for coming again.
Thank you.
And appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.